Good afternoon, everyone. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Caldwell Hearing Examiner for Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. It is 1:31, and this is a public hearing. My name is Sabrina Durchie, and I will be your hearing examiner for today. What I can hear is quasi-judicial decisions concerning particular land use applications for the City of Caldwell. During the public hearing process, public oral testimony will be taken from those in attendance and those who have signed up the sign-up sheet to speak, which is available at the front room. When you testify, please come up to the podium, please speak into the microphone and state your full name and address. All comments should be addressed to myself, the hearing examiner, and should be relevant to the application. Once the public hearing is opened, we'll first let staff present, and then the applicant or applicant's representative will be given 10 minutes to speak. Public testimony will then be open to anyone that has signed up to speak in favor, neutral, or in opposition, and this will be limited to 3 minutes. And then finally, the applicant or applicant's representative will then be permitted a 5-minute rebuttal. After the rebuttal is given, the public hearing portion of the hearing will be closed, and no new oral or written testimony will be allowed, unless I decide to reopen the public hearing. We request that everyone treats all parties with fairness and respect, so gentlemen, behave. And we are required by Idaho State Code to take written minutes for all public hearings. Therefore, please silence your cell phones. Okay, so let's take a look at our agenda. So our first old business, I don't have anything else. We did adopt the previous minutes, or I guess we didn't have previous minutes, so we didn't have to sign those. We have an old business item that we will attend to, but we do have a new business item that was unfortunately noticed on the wrong day. This is Ambrosia SP25-09 and ZON 25-05. That was not supposed to be on the agenda for today. It is set to be on February 24th, so next month. So now that we don't have any new business items, let's go back to our old business item. This is case number SUP 25-017 and ZON 25-06. The applicant, TMOD Homes LLC, on behalf of David Nelson, is requesting zoning for parcel R32497-00000 from C3 to R3, as well as a special use permit for Freedom 50 development. The proposed development is a multifamily residential duplex community with 50 dwelling units and is approximately 3.9 acre parcel located on the east side of Ustick Road, approximately 400 feet west of the intersection with Cleveland Boulevard. Okay, Joe, thank you. We tabled this item, so please give me an update.
All right, thank you, Madam Hearing Examiner. Yes, again, just to reiterate, it is Freedom 50 is the project before you, SUP 25-17 and ZON 25-06. So it was continued from the December 23rd hearing where there was discussion about some non-compliant proposal items, and I'll go through those in detail as we go through this. But before we get into that, I'll just reiterate what they're asking for, where the site is located, just to make sure we're all clear. So again, the site is about a 3.9 acre site northwest of Walmart, located along Ustick, near the Ustick and Cleveland intersection. Specific site address is 4111 Kristen Lane. Nearby uses include the Walmart, multiple fuel stations, lots of commercial in the area, especially to the east. There's some light industrial uses and healthcare facilities to the north and northwest, and then single-family residential to the west and southwest. And just to reiterate, the comprehensive plan designation on this site is mixed-use center, and then the zoning currently is C3, and one of the requests is to rezone that from C3 to R3. You can see there is some R3, which is the purple, nearby the site already. The specific request before you is a medium-high density multifamily development consisting of now 49 total units within 25 modular buildings. 2 units per building, essentially, now with a property management office. The proposed Freedom 50 project does not include any non-residential uses or mixed-use buildings along Ustick, which is one of the points of contention with code there. It does not technically meet code requirements for this mixed-use / non-residential requirement along major corridors and arterials. The applicant has noted many reasons within their narrative about why commercial doesn't make sense on this property, why it doesn't make sense on the frontage, et cetera. That will be something that you will make a recommendation on and what council will ultimately have to decide. Since December 23rd, the applicant resubmitted many of their plans. So they resubmitted a landscape plan, their site plan, and the open space exhibit, and tried to comply with all of the conditions of approval that were previously there. This is the updated site plan here. I won't go through every single line item that they updated, but I'll go through the main points. They updated the west and south boundary buffers to be 15 feet instead of the previously shown 10 feet. So now that's compliant with code. They removed 9 parking spaces near the southwest corner of the site as staff had recommended in order to open up that open space area and create an open play area that's actually usable. They added a third amenity, which is also required by the multifamily code. That's shown in that southwest corner now, pergola with a barbecue pit, a barbecue area. And they added a property management office within one of the units in the center. It's kind of hard to see from here, but it's in one of the units in the center block. That is, they basically just replaced one of the residential units that will now have a property management office with the maintenance storage area, which makes them compliant with that code section now. Because of that, they reduced their density overall. They did not add a new building or anything like that, so they lost a unit to gain that. They also provided building renderings that show better compliance with the standards, and as we had discussed during the hearing, that perhaps they should be more applicable and comply with the duplex standards
Right.
versus the multifamily standards. The renderings that they showed at the previous hearing, I think, comply with those very well, if not exceed them, and so they provided those to show compliance with that. The applicant did also revise the landscape plan, although some of the requirements of code were still not met. So they're meeting their buffer widths everywhere, and they improved their plantings along U-stick, but overall plantings, I think they still were reviewing it under the old code, and so there's some misses there. And I can go into detail of that as well. These are the building renderings that they've submitted and what they showed last time. Just wanted to iterate the complexity of them despite being modular, and that they do have some multiple materials, especially for the street facing elevations. And within my staff report, I noted that the stair access to the second floors, they're putting architectural screening on those, so it even adds another element that breaks up the plane of those, and these aren't just boxes placed on the site. I genuinely believe that they look better than that, and so I just wanted to iterate that. After reviewing all the revised documents, these are the site-specific conditions that were previously listed, and through strike through and underline, I'm depicting what we're recommending be changed or remain the same. So the first condition is just a standard condition that we want. We just wanted to include the renderings in that and make sure that we're held to those standards as we move along. Number 2, kind of the same thing. We want to ensure that Republic Services has a chance to truly review the site plan and approve the site, the location of the trash enclosure, so we recommend that that stays. They've taken care of condition number 3, so we're proposing to strike it. Modified the 4th condition to go through the landscape ordinance in more detail. And the main things of the landscape ordinance that they're not complying with are regards to the buffer materials. So in the multifamily code, it points back to the landscape buffers between different uses, which says that the trees need to touch at maturity within 5 years, essentially, or they need to show that they'll touch within 5 years. Clearly what's shown on their site plan, their landscape plan, that west boundary especially, that's not happening with what they're showing.
Okay.
And so that's one of the main things. They also need to show shrubbery back there. It says 1 shrub per 3 linear feet. And then the ground cover period across those buffers, minus maybe the southwest area that has the general open space, is not supposed to exceed 50% of grass. It's supposed to have shrub beds essentially.
Okay.
So those are the main things that they're not complying with. Number 1 being the tree canopy and the actual screening that would provide along the west boundary.
And you're requiring that before their next for the city council?
Yes, I would like them to update the landscape plan to show that, so that way there's one less thing to handle there.
Sure, perfect.
Condition 5, they've complied with.
Okay,
Condition 6, just modified to just say in general, no matter what the standards are, multifamily or duplex, that they submit for that administrative design review to ensure that we get another chance to review this before building permits are submitted, just to make sure that we're covered. Number 7, they corrected as well. And 8 is just a standard condition that we included because of the Caldwell Fire Department requiring them to be sprinklered since there's no secondary access. So everything else they've complied with.
Okay,
And I guess at that point, if staff recommends that if you recommend approval of the rezone and special use permit, that it be subject to the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and order of decision, including the memo dated January 6th, 2026 that was sent out.
okay.
And I will stand for any questions or give it to the applicant, however you'd like to do.
I think that's handed over to the applicant.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe. I was trying to find my glasses, but I don't think I brought them.
I believe the applicant is just going to utilize my slides and
Okay,
answer any
that's fine.
questions that you
Yep,
may have.
yep. Hello there.
I don't have a lot to add, so I really,
Real quick.
I'll say my name. Michael Fife, 2667 East Gala Court, Meridian, Idaho, 83642.
Thank you.
I don't have additional things to present, so I think I really just stand for questions that you
Okay.
might have.
I'm happy with the changes. We still need to get the landscape plan up to snuff, but I think that, overall, I was pleased with the changes that you've made. Can you talk to me a little bit about, the one unit, now that we're gonna have 49 units, and then what that is gonna entail, hours of operation, what you guys have envisioned for the property manager there?
Well, for this size of a property, the property manager actually wouldn't even put an office there typically. So
Okay.
we're just providing it, so we'll use it as a model unit for potential
Okay.
renters to walk through, and then it will be an office space that the landlord can use, and like say, storage and equipment could be there, but, I mean, it won't be used a lot, honestly.
Okay, and it was due to code requirements that they have to have an office?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. Let me just go through my previous notes.
The only thing I would say while you're looking at that is, we know that this doesn't meet the code, but it does meet your comp plan. And so I think in the spirit of what the city's trying to accommodate and do through a comprehensive plan,
Yeah,
because that's why you have planned unit developments and special use permits and things. You don't have to rezone the whole city, and I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but just thinking together, this really does meet the spirit of what the city's trying to accomplish. It provides a great transition from a Walmart parking lot and a buffer to that residential neighborhood to the west. So we feel like we're bringing a great amenity to the community that meets, it's a lower density than what's approved there. If we'd have built the 96 units, there'd have been way more cars, 3-story buildings instead of 2, so. I feel like
compared to
this
what
is
was
Yeah.
previously approved.
was approved,
Do
yeah.
you know what the price points are gonna be as far as, for rent? Do you
They'll-
guys have that?
They'll be a little below what you're seeing another 2-bedroom, 2-bath, not precipitously lower, because we don't want to turn it into a HUD housing unit either, right? Because if you drop them way below, then you create other problems.
Sure.
With the rentals. But what we will have in the community, though, what I would say, this will help piggyback other projects and other things. There will be for sale units in other projects we'll do, even in Caldwell.
Okay,
And those should be in the 279 range for somebody
Okay.
to own a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, which is about 70 or 80 grand below what anything else you'd find in the
sure.
market.
And that would be super exciting to have that little diversification.
Yeah, and the thing, when we get the prototype finished in coming weeks, we'll invite you guys to come walk through it and see it, because what you'll see is you will not walk through that and say to yourself, oh, I see why these are less expensive. You will not say that. They're beautifully appointed, well-built structures, so.
Do you think at a later point you might come back in and plat the lots so that they can be sold individually, or?
We wouldn't rule that out,
Okay.
we want to get going and just, that's really our holdback, because our agenda and our mission with TMOD is to provide attainable housing for people, high-quality attainable housing. Our agenda is not to just build a bunch of rental communities, because that kind of defeats the purpose of it. And so, yeah, if that's something that we could accomplish after we get them built, just so we can get things rolling, we would be 100% open to that. In fact, we would prefer it if that
Sure.
could be possible.
Sure, because your pitch was like, with the modular buildings, it's cheaper to build, but I'd like to see that roll
Yeah.
into like the rent or the cost of the home. So see
Yeah.
that the public sees those benefits as well. So,
100%.
Okay, I think I don't have any more questions. Does
Okay.
anyone else want to come up and speak?
Can I just ask my partner a question real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I'll just do it out loud. On the office space, I mean, we prefer to have 50 units available to the market, but we don't want to like cause any problems either, cause ourselves or make more work for staff. Could we modify that to where we do have the 50 units and then a separate office space that's, like Mike said, it's kind of a part-time product, you know? If we could add maybe a 400 square foot, or I don't know, 300 square foot space that's specific, rather than taking up an entire 2-bedroom, 2-bath to accommodate code, which we obviously want to do,
I
maybe
think-
that would be our preference.
I think that's totally fine.
Madam Herring, that's correct. Yeah, I wasn't expecting you guys to use a whole unit to do that. In the
Okay.
first hand, I would anticipate
Isn't
it.
50 the cutoff where it becomes necessary?
It's actually
to-
20. I apparently can't read in my own code, and so I had previously mentioned 50. I think there's a different cutoff for 50, which is why that was stuck in my head, but it's
Okay.
20 units or more.
Okay.
That our code states that, and that, yeah, it doesn't have to, there's no like minimum size or maximum size. It's just provide that space so that way
Okay.
people know where to go if they need something, as well as that's supposed to include some type of storage area for the maintenance that somebody's supposed to be doing to manage the site
Right.
if people don't pick up their dog poop, or that's a big one that we always hear about.
sure.
Things like that, just making sure there's not excessive litter around, things like, obviously, people pay for these services too as developers or people
Yeah.
managing it, but just to
Okay.
make sure there's some opportunity for that on site as well.
That makes sense.
So I think, can we look at the site plan real quick and maybe see if there's a
back, yeah.
location? So are you thinking something more central or at the entrance point?
It would probably be in that center island is where we would probably put
Okay.
it, don't you think? Yeah.
Do you guys feel comfortable? I don't want to table you again, but could you make that update for council?
Yeah, you bet.
To reflect that?
Yeah, for sure.
Since they're not showing it, should I put a condition? Should we, or,
Madam Hearing Examiner, I think through your motion, you can just state it, and then we know on the record that that's what the expectation is. I don't think you need a formal condition, because then all I would do, if we have a formal condition, if they comply with that before, I'll just be asking
just
council to
striking
strike
it?
it. So
Okay.
I'd prefer it just be part of the motion, and we know what the
Okay.
expectation is.
and then what are the minimum standards that that building needs to be?
There are none. It just
So-
says a property maintenance, or a property management office with some maintenance storage area.
And we'll make it match architecturally too, so it just blends right in.
Sure.
Okay, sounds great. All right.
All right, perfect.
With that, I will close the public hearing, unless any, gentlemen, we good? Okay. And based on the new information you provided, staff's findings, the staff report, and the testimony, I will recommend approval of your applications with you guys adding that additional storage, property managed off-site building before council with your updated landscape plans. Does that sound good? Okay. I don't have anything else on our agenda, so it is 1:49, and I will close our public hearing. Thank you. Okay? It's easy.